Welcome back to the news at 10. Residents of the Federal Capital Territory living along the Kefi-Nyanya Road have appealed to the authorities to find new ways of conducting security checks in order to ease the traffic along the road. Some residents who spoke to Channels Television advised the government to change the current stop-and-search method by providing equipment that will enable security agencies to detect arms and bomb-laden cars. The residents expressed fears that an attack by the insurgents at the security checkpoints may lead to massive casualties on the road.
Slow movement of vehicles along the Kefi-Nyanya Road, where a huge explosion killed at least 75 persons last week. Commercial motorcycle riders who are exploiting the situation to make brisk businesses are not left out of the ordeal as they are made to push their bikes on approaching the security checkpoints. Although the security men prevented our crew from getting close to the checkpoint, some commuters say the mounting of major checkpoints along the only point of entry into Abuja from Benue, Plateau and Nasarawa states is an exercise in futility.
What they are doing does not make any sense. You can imagine if a suicide bomber will have to drive up to this point and detonate a bomb, what will happen to the rest of us here? There should be a better way out of this than all this, what we are witnessing.
How should they expect workers now to go to the office? Bankers are going to lose their job. Low income earners now in the offices now, how can they afford these things? You are expected to be in the office by 8 o'clock now. Up to 11 o'clock you never reach office now. What can you tell your boss?
We are checking carpet. As you can see, nothing to prove that they are checking. They are just standing. Look at hold up. If you go to Karoye, you see a lot of cars. So many people will get to the office today. I don't think some will even get there before 1 o'clock.
While roadside traders cashed in on the situation, some car owners bear their minds on the security situation in the country and the various checkpoints along the Kefi-Abuja route.
Ordinarily on this road you have hold up. Not to talk of now that there's a security checkpoint here. And to be honest, are we really checking?
Boko Haram is me and you. I then form the Boko Haram. It's between somebody in this country form the Boko Haram. And them they transport, then they enter the motor, see how security is tight. They even though they be mumu, they can't cross easy.
As a matter of fact, I've been on the road for almost 2-3 hours now. As a journey that ordinarily would have taken me 15 minutes to get to work.
As the security agencies await better equipment to enable them perform their jobs effectively, residents of Nyanya will for now have to live with the traffic congestion occasioned by the checkpoints.
Meanwhile, the Defence Headquarters have pleaded with residents of Abuja to be understanding as complaints continue to trail the traffic gridlock on Nyanya-Abuja Highway. The Director of Defence Information, Major General Chris Olukolade, says that the measures are not meant to inconvenience road users. The military says that the action became necessary as a result of security threats facing the nation. Major General Chris Olukolade goes on to give residents the assurance that the security measures will be reviewed as more equipment and additional support is introduced to ease the gridlock. Well, we move straight on to business news. Here's Adeshawa Josh. Adeshawa.
Well, thanks a lot. Business activities have resumed nationwide following the end of the Easter holiday. Here in Lagos, financial market activities resumed in earnest, with bank customers trooping in and out of the banks. At the currency market, the naira firmed slightly against the US dollar, lifted by expectations of month-end dollar sales from some oil companies and offshore investors participating in local debt auctions. The naira closed at 162 naira 15 kobo against the greenback on an interbank market, firmer than Thursday's close of 162 naira 30 kobo. In the meantime, Nigeria plans to auction 200 billion naira in treasury bills and bonds on Wednesday. The National Assembly has sent the 2014 appropriation bill to the presidency for assent, and before going on Easter break, the National Assembly had passed a budget of 4.695 trillion naira as against 4.642 trillion naira proposed by the executive Well, the Assembly also adopted a benchmark price of $77.50 per barrel of crude oil, an increase of $74 per barrel proposed by the executive. The Nigerian Stock Exchange has announced the inclusion of Lafarge Cement Wapco Nigeria PLC into the league of high-priced stocks. The local boss says that a review of trading activities of the company in the last 6 months shows that it met the criteria set by the exchange. The company will become the 10th stock on the program. The exchange began the pilot program with 9 stocks: Dangote Cement, Guinness PLC, Nestle PLC, Nigerian Breweries, Sim Capital Fund, Sky Shelter Fund, Nigeria Energy Sector Fund, and Total PLC. And this means stockbrokers will be able to move the prices of Lafarge Cement Wapco Nigeria PLC in addition to the existing high-price stocks with 10,000 units with effect from today. The Central Bank of Nigeria has called for input from industry stakeholders for its exposure draft guidelines for licensing and regulation of financial holding companies in the country. According to the draft guidelines posted on its website and signed by the Director of Financial Policy and Regulation, Kevin Amugo, the Apex Bank is proposing that subsidiaries or their partners must not acquire shares of their parent company, financial holding company, or sister firms within the group. This proposal is coming nearly 4 years after Lamido Sanusi, as the Apex Bank's governor, overturned the universal banking policy of his immediate predecessor, Professor Chukwuma Soludo, citing abuse of the policy. Now, those banking groups who still desire to keep non-prohibited subsidiaries were allowed to ring-fence the banks and then accommodate others in a financial holding company. The Nigerian Stock Exchange today came alive after a 2-day holiday, with the bulls taking the lead. Harriet Agbe tells us more.
Hello and welcome to the Stock Market Report. After a 2-day holiday to celebrate Easter, trading resumed upbeat at the Nigerian equities market as the all-share index grew by 0.24% to end Tuesday's session at 39,408.33. Well, price losses by market heavyweight Nestle was not enough to put a damper on the market. The equity lost almost 39 naira. Seplat Petroleum Development Company also shared weight, dropping 33 naira 33 kobo, and investors unimpressed by UBA's first quarter financial statement booked profit of the stock. So those three are the top price losers for the day. On the other hand, Lafarge Wapco Cement, which has just been included in the NSE's league of high-price stocks, was the highest gainer for the day. The top three most actively traded stocks for the day are bank stocks, FBN Holdings, Sky Bank, and Guarantee Trust Bank. When the closing bell rang, investors in 4,984 deals exchanged 372.43 million shares for 4.95 billion naira. Well, those are the day's trading figures. I'm Harriet Agbenyi.
Thanks a lot, Harriet. And finally, on Business News tonight, Nigeria's external reserves recorded some stability within the first half of this month, closing at $37.91 billion. Data from the Central Bank of Nigeria shows that the reserves grew by $63.18 million between the end of March and April the 15th. The stability and gradual increase began on March the 28th, although the recovery has not helped the year-to-date figure so far. Between the end of December last year and mid-April, the reserves have dropped by $5.69 billion. And that's Business News tonight. The News at 10 continues in a moment.
Now, car calm may have returned to the hearts of panic-stricken residents of Ijoko Road along the Lagos-Abeokuta Expressway, where a gas pipeline ruptured yesterday. While supply through the pipeline has been shut, it appears the leak has been plugged, but some residents want more assurances from relevant authorities over their safety concerns.
This entire area was the scene of a near disaster yesterday following a loud sound from a ruptured gas pipeline. First thing that comes to mind is, are these residents within safe proximity to the underground pipeline, or is the pipeline buried within safe parameters?
This pipeline is at the other side before doing this road. Actually, before doing this road, but along the line doing this road, they diverted it to this side. So there hasn't the heart to dig it down. That's what I see.
When this happened, we had no government support. This is my house, and now our lives are endangered. That's not fair.
Looking at this signpost, which suggests that there is a gas pipeline beneath where I'm standing, and that numbers like this can be called if there is an emergency. The residents around here tell me that the worry they had yesterday that nobody was on the other side to take these calls. Contrary also to most newspaper and online publication, the line is that of Shell Nigeria Gas Limited, and in a statement by the spokesperson Precious Okolobo, which wrote some parts, the line has been shut down. SNG is working to repair and reopen the line. All appears normal now, but fundamental issues still subsist. Is this Chinese firm responsible for the explosion? How can another occurrence be averted? These emergency numbers need to be active, following accusation from residents that the numbers had no receivers. This entire area is a work site, and so Shell needs to do more by protecting the lines, perhaps taking it deeper than it appears. Olu Phillips, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Manchester United fire manager David Moyes just 10 months into his 6-year contract. That's on sports. Enjoy us again.